Hi there. Today I want to tell you my story, why and how I, a nerdy girl, ran away from elite high school education. But beneath the labels, it's really a vivid story about deep thinking, rock music, trauma, self-destruction, and how all of that brought me here. So grab your drink, snacks, or whatever. Let's get started. I describe myself as a kid born with a deep mind. My mother always tells the story of me asking why is grandpa called grandpa when I was about 3. Adorable, right? However, it's an innate gift, but also a curse, I think. I was always obsessed with deep questions, like what's the point of human existence, and things like that. I think the twist of my childhood was I started thinking about my place in the universe in my primary school. Well, thanks to sci-fi. Nevertheless, it made me an outsider among my classmates. You might think that I felt pretty proud of being so extraordinary. That is not true, actually. I felt little proud. Most of my time, I could only chew my loneliness in the corner of the classroom. My weird aesthetic judgment also led to bullying. Yes, by those dumb, nasty boys at school. After that, with the torture of depression, I became a kid who had almost hidden the entire personality out of my insecurity. I also left a strong urge to cope with my distress through alcohol. I remember that I could drink half a bottle of wine by the end of 6th grade. I finally had a better environment in middle school. You know, with responsible teachers and understanding classmates, my mental health became a little better. I could breathe a little and access most of my brain when it came to studying. Thanks to that, my grades were good all through middle school. But guess what? This was actually everyone else's vision for me, except mine. God knows I had to continuously stand storms inside my heart. I just didn't feel right about my life. I could only feel emptiness when I lay in bed. I could see that I was on the road that everyone was happy with. My family, my teachers, even my classmates. That is study STEM and be an excellent engineer or a doctor until retirement. But to be honest, I felt totally fucked up. I could foresee my life till the end, filled with endless repetitive days. Nothing close to my dream life, and definitely without any passion. Oh, I almost forgot to tell you. I was heavily influenced by literature, philosophy, and rock music at that time. I firmly believe that only art could create something beyond human beings in a way. For me, it seemed like the only medicine to cure my pain. I threw myself into the big generation, pop punk, and some counterculture movies like Trainspotting or Taxi Driver, just trying to tear a hole in my life to feel less meaningless. Studying in school never brought me real joy. I was just entertained by my feeling of superiority. I actually wanted to study music. I asked my mom several times if I could study music or art, but I was always disappointed by her answer. She'd say, "You're not talented enough in art, but seem more talented in academics." Or, "Even if you wanted to study, it is too late to begin." The only opportunity I had to study guitar was when I finally went to my guitar teacher's studio by myself and asked if he could teach me. Later on, I entered high school. Since I was assigned to an elite class, all I had to deal with were paper mountains on my desk. Well, with my sore right hand and a 7 to 11 study routine, most of the time I could only feel numbness instead of the stress. Actually, Saturday nights were the exception. The worst thing I could think of at that time was lying on my bed sober on a Saturday night. You can just imagine how the darkness made of self-doubt sticks you in the bed. Well, that's super literary. I fucking hated that. I decided to grab a drink every Saturday night and be half drunk when I got home. At first, it was okay. Everything seemed better, including me. I could go to school normally. I could stay numb most of the time. Well, however, the turning point was coming very soon. At the beginning, I just had a sip of rum occasionally on workday nights. But later, I started to drink more in bars. So the next day, I could barely stand at school by 7 a.m. And my heart was pounding so fucking fast that it made my chest ache. I sincerely felt that I was dying. But you know what? My mind was miraculously clear. It wasn't until this moment that I realized I couldn't fit myself into this path. If I continue, I could quit school due to a serious health issue. In that case, I would totally ruin my life, even the repetitive one. I remembered the words from my musician friend the night before. So why do you want to keep walking on the path you don't really like? Do you really want to be an engineer your whole life? Trust me, even if you waited until high school graduation, it will definitely ruin you. Although I was melting in my chair that day, I made up my mind. I could no longer run away. So, I waited for 2 more weeks and finally ended my high school career on the way to a Sum 41 performance. Just as their lyrics say, I can't waste my time just waiting on the twist of fate. So, that's my story about what led me here. I really appreciate you listening to it, and please leave comments below so I can also listen to yours. I started the channel because I found that listening to others' experience similar to mine actually helped me heal. And I'm also aware that healing is too difficult to find today. So if you think this works for you or you just like my companionship, please hit the subscribe button for more, because I'm going to share my healing journey in the next video. This is Counterculture, looking forward to our moment together later. See ya!